So today we're starting a new series. Woo!
Yeah.
So what? Huh? Exactly. So, and we're not talking like so what, as in like you say to your parents, like, oh my gosh, so what? I don't know what I'm like, why should I do that? So what? But we're talking as in SOW what, which refers to farming, which refers to planting seeds and how they grow. I'm sure you got a lot of you heard the saying, reap what you sow, that's biblical. Reap what you sow. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And the reason we don't have Bibles is partially because we don't have slides. And I was like, why not? Let's just all read through what we're going to talk about together. So I'm going to give you a second to turn to page 696. We're going to be reading out of Mark chapter 4.
Who needs a Bible?
If you need one, I'll throw one at your face. All right, use that one. Why did you say you need one? All right, yeah, take a second and turn to that as I...
Mark chapter 4.
As I grab my last prop.
So,
wow, there's actually a page 66.
I'm going to
what page? So if you go to Revelation, or not Revelation, the New Testament goes Matthew, Mark.
What page is it on again?
696.
696.
So the more the back sharp. 696.
It'll be where there's a 4. It'll be like on the left page.
You said 966?
696.
I mean 196.
696.
Oh.
Okay, I got you, bud. This way, that way. We're getting closer. Not that far. 6, 9.
Did you say 69?
696. Take a second, find it. Maybe read it over if you want, just so you can be more woke. This part. Okay, so you found it. Thumbs up if you found it. Witty. Okay, so what we're gonna do throughout the series is we're gonna break it up in chunks.
Chunks? What is chunking mean? I don't get it.
Different pieces. So
So
we're gonna break it up into parts. But for today, since it's week 1, let's just read the whole thing, just so we can get a little understanding of what we're going through, and then I'll tell you what parts we're gonna break down. But for now, let's just get a brief understanding. It says, again, Jesus began to teach by the lake. The crowd that gathered around him was so large that he got into a boat and sat in it on the lake. While all the people were along the shore at the water's edge, he taught them many things by parables, and in his teaching said, listen, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was so shallow, but when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants, so that they did not bear grain. Still, other seed fell on good soil. It came up, grew, and produced a crop multiplying 30, 60, or even 100 times. Then Jesus said, he who has ears to hear, let him hear. So 10 through 12, basically the disciples, like later on after Jesus is done teaching, the disciples were like, yo, Jesus, that teaching, that was like rad, and like that was super cool, but like, I have no idea what you meant, bro. And Jesus was like, are you serious? And so he explains it a little more in verses 13 and on by saying, then Jesus said to them, don't you understand this parable? How then will you understand any parable? The farmer sows the word. Some people are like seed along the path where the word is sown. As soon as they hear it, Satan comes and takes the word that was sown in them. Others, like seed sown on rocky places, hear the word and at once receive it with joy. But since they have no root, they only last a certain time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. Still others, like seed sown among thorns, hear the word, but the worries of this life, the deceitfulness of wealth, and the desires for other things come in and choke the word, making it unfruitful. Others, like seed sown on good soil, hear the word, accept it, and produce a crop 30, 60, or even 100 times what was sown.
Amen.
That's a lot. That's why we're not doing it all in a week. I don't want to do it all in a week. That's a lot to talk about. So, what we're going to talk about this week, we're going to talk about, and how I mentioned, like he breaks it down a little bit in that second chapter, the second part. So we're going to go through verses 1 through 4, and then 14 and 15 a little bit. So the first part. So take a second, relax, stand up, turn to a neighbor, give him a high five, and say, I'm a farmer.
I don't get that.
Stand up, turn to a neighbor, high five, say, I'm a farmer. I'll do it, shoot.
I'm a farmer.
I'm a farmer. I'm a farmer. I'm a farmer. Farmers. What do we farm? You a farmer?
I'm Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
Need Parker.
So now we have that quick intermission. We're gonna reread 1 through 4 again because like you probably weren't listening. I wasn't like, what are we talking about today? I don't know. So So again, Jesus began to teach by the lake. So let's kind of picture it for a second. So we're at a lake right now, and like for this description, I'll be Jesus, but I'm not. Before this demonstration, so we're all at a lake. We're chilling. There's some water over here. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people. So there's a ton of you guys gathered around him, and it was so large that Jesus, he goes into a boat. I'm on a boat on the water, so you guys can see me. Sat on the lake while the other people were along the shore at the water's edge. And he just starts teaching. He starts preaching to them. He's letting them know. He's talking to them about their lives. And then he goes, listen! A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path. The birds came and ate it up. I mean, if you think about it, they didn't have mics. He's out in the water. You know, he's got to be loud, you know? So, listen!
Ow!
He sounded like that, too. He wasn't very I'm kidding.
Ow!
So, yeah, what does that entail? So, he's saying...
What page are we on again?
696, chapter 4. Mark 4.
I lost.
So what is he saying? I'll say it again in a nice tone. Farmer went out to sow seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell on the path, the birds came and ate it up. So we're talking about people who are unable to grow in their faith based on the predispositions that they are put in. So it's easy to anything God tries to place in your life, whether it's good to grow, fruitful things, to just wave it off based on the things that have been in your life, and you just get thrown away. You don't even get to grow. You don't get to try. Have you guys been to the corn maze?
Yeah.
You guys been to the corn maze?
Might go to corn
One in
maze.
Dixon, it's crazy. It's fat, right? A couple years ago, it was like the biggest corn maze in the world or something like that.
Yeah.
And like, I've been there twice in the past like week and a half because I have nothing better to do with my life. And the one thing I noticed about it is that you're there for a long time. I was there like 2 hours. And like, when you're walking around, like your feet start to hurt. You know what I mean? Why? Because the ground is super hard. But it's a path. You know, you're walking on the path, it's so matted down from all the people who walk on it, that it's just super hard, it hurts your feet, there's no divots, it hurts. And it's in this big area of life. Why is that significant? So this pathway that is once surrounded by life, which was once fertile ground, is no longer able to grow great things. Corn, we love corn. It's no longer able to grow this corn because it's been stomped on and matted on for so long that it doesn't even want to grow anymore, based on all the people who have come through. So how does this relate? So maybe you in your walk with God, through all the things you've been through in your whole life, you've been walked on, stepped on so many times that anytime anybody wants to bring anything that will help you grow, you just look it off. Look the other way. I don't want to deal with that. I've been doing this, like, I can't, like, that's not where I'm from, that's not how I do things. Maybe it could be based on your circumstances. All your life, your parents have been looking down on you. Maybe you're a youngest sibling, been looking down on you your whole life, comparing you to other siblings. You're not looking at your other siblings, like, why can't you do this? Blah, 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 just stomping on you. So that whenever a good opportunity does come, whether it's in school, you're thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to do as good, based on I'm not going to be able to be as good as my siblings. Or even your friends, even your friend groups, your comparison. So you see it as, oh, my friend group, I'm not as good as them, I'm not as cool as them, they look nicer than me, that's why they get all the girls or the boys, whatever. And so I can't even go and do these things. I don't want to go to that event because I'm not as cool as them. I don't want to go to Wednesday night because I'm not as cool as the other kids in the youth class. I don't know why you would think that, but I mean, it could be. It could be any situation that based on overtime that you've been stepped on for so long that you just don't even want to try it. And it's significant because, using the example of the corn maze, like, it's such a huge, there's life everywhere, there's corn everywhere, but based on being stepped on for so long, can't even grow anymore. And it was once fruitful ground, right? I mean, the whole maze has so much life. Like, it could be, based on being stomped, and stomped, and stomped, and stomped, can't even. It's no longer good soil. And so that's the path. I want you to think about what things in your life have stomped you down so much that you just don't even try anymore. What the root causes are. We're going to talk about in a second the birds, which are significant. Think about the root cause, whether it be, oh, my friend group always put me down, or oh, my older sibling, oh, they always are just putting me down, they don't see the potential in me. My friends, my opportunity, my coaches, they don't give me opportunities. My teachers, they don't care about me. Whatever it may be, the root cause of why you don't want to try anymore. What do you think about that? And so what's next? We talked about the path. After that, as you scattered the seed, some fell on the path. And what came and ate it up? Pop quiz. What came and ate it up?
Birds.
Birds. The birds ate it up. Why is that significant? I think it's funny that he just says birds and seeds, because if you think about it, so big birds like eagles and Big Bird himself and vultures and stuff like that. Like vultures eat dead animals like meat. Eagles eat like small animals like mice, things like that. And what kind of birds eat seeds? Like chickens and we're gonna talk about the pigeons. Ducks, yeah. Or like pigeons. That'll be my example. And why? Like, it's just a pigeon. And they're eating the seed. And I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I know a lot of you have been to San Francisco. They got some thug pigeons. Yeah. A lot of them pigeons, they're gangsters. You walk up to them, they don't care. They're like, what's up, bro? Like, I'm here. This is my street. I'm walking. Like, what are you talking about, huh? They got a New York accent for some reason. They're walking around. They're just thugging it out. And so maybe those are the pigeons. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But even those pigeons, the toughest of the birds, you just kick them. You walk up to them, you shoo them away, they're gone. Like, it's not a big deal. And notice how afterwards, when we read the whole thing, he talks about later, in the later parts that we're going to get onto in the following weeks, talks about like, oh, persecution and like stress over financials, things like that. Like big long-term issues we talk about later. He doesn't say with the seed like, oh, a giant earthquake comes and the earth opens up, the seed drops, can't grow. Or like, oh, a massive ungodly hurricane comes through, the seed's blown everywhere, it can't grow. He says a pigeon comes through and eats it. Just a little bird, just kick it, like get it out of the way. So why is this significant? Because you've been hardened so long over time that the little things can come through and eat what you need to grow. So whether these little things would be more so, I talked about before, like think about the path as the root, and the birds are what come along, and the things that are said that you manifest in your head that hinder you from growing. So going back to the example of, we'll say what do I want to use? The parents one. So the parents stomp you down. Oh, you're not as good as your siblings. You need to do better in school. Why are you like this? Just stomping your ground. And then later on, when you want to try out for the math team, or you want to try out for the Academic team, the thing that you refer back to is the things that stomped you down. That, oh, I'm not smart enough, so I'm not going to do that. That would be the birds. The birds are going to come along and take the life out. But realistically, that's a great opportunity. You should try it, right? So the birds are going to come through and hinder any opportunity for growth. So you've been, the parable is saying, that you've been hardened so long over time that you just don't even want to try anymore. Like, I'm not going to go. Like, this whole God thing, like, no. Like, my parents claim to be Christians, but, like, they're not. Like why would I try that out again? Like, you've been stomped down by them so much that anytime somebody wants to give an opportunity to you, you just look it off based on the predisposition of before. Oh, my parents, oh, they're ungodly. I'm not saying me personally, but my parents are ungodly. They claim they know God, but like they're acting fool. Like they're like I can't look up to them. So anytime somebody's like, oh, you should try out church, you kind of brush it off. No, I don't want to do that. Like I had this bad rap of it before. When realistically, it's an opportunity for growth. Any opportunity for growth that arises, that you just, nope, I'm cool. So what am I saying to do? So these birds, these negative thoughts. Hello, little bear team. This bird. So I'm here with you guys. I'm trying to do ministry stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's a seed. It's an opportunity for growth. So my seed is playing along, and this bird comes along and says, "You're too young to be doing that. I'm gonna eat those seeds." And it's like, what? Like, it's just a negative thought. It's not anything big that I have to deal with. It's just a negative thought. So what do you do with these stupid little birds? Out of here. That's what you do to those. I'm not done with the birds. Birds trying to eat mine. Yeah. I'm saying to stomp those birds. Get them out. Deal with those issues. Understand the root causes of them. And understand what it is that's hindering you from being able to grow. What the thoughts are that are in your head that you're like, I don't really want to try these things. I don't know. Whether it be insecurity, whether it be just anger, any sort of thought that you're having, any sort of just thing that's holding you back from growth in your own head typically. Understand what is causing it and uproot that soil to be able to produce good soil. And understand what the bird is. I killed that bird. Stupid bird. So yeah, understand what it is and kill those birds.